Kuzma. Despite LeBron dropping a game-high 38 points and Devin Booker being ejected midway through the third quarter, LA couldn't keep up with Phoenix and dropped its 5th game in the last 7 tries. And with the win, the Suns actually leapfrogged the Lakers for 2nd place in the Western Conference right now. So Shannon, please give LeBron a letter grade for his performance last night. The objective here.
Skip, I gave him a B+. I would have gave him an A had they won the ball game, but I thought he had it going. Did a great job of getting inside out, laying the ball up. He was attacking the rim, had some nice mid-range shots to turn around from the lane, from the baseline. The 3-ball got going a little late, but I liked the way he tried to get guys involved. Skip, I thought he played as well. There's not a whole lot else he could do. He shot 66% from the floor, and it still wasn't enough. But I think what's happening is that some of his role players, KCP, because he's struggling offensively, it's affecting his defense. Wesley Matthews has been basically a bust with the exception of that one game against Milwaukee, Skip, where I think he hit 7 threes. I don't know if he's had more than 1 3 in a game in the last 20, 25 ball games. With that being said, the Lakers are going to have to make a decision. They are unwilling to guard the 3-point line, Skip. And you can't keep losing. You can't be minus 12. You can't be minus 15. Minus 20 from the 3-point line and expect to win ball games. You can't trade threes for 2s. That's 1 point every time, and then because the Lakers shot the ball good from the floor, Skip, they were over 50% from the floor. But when you allow a team to shoot 55% from the 3, and the volume of threes in which they made, you're probably going to lose the game, even if you get a great performance from LeBron. And that's what happened last night. I think a lot of this falls on Frank Vogel. He's trying to experiment with lineups. You cannot have Wesley Matthews and Taylor Horton playing the same amount of minutes as Trez when Trez is really your only big. Because what happens, Skip, if you saw late in the 3rd into the 4th, they went Saric at the 5 and had Chris Paul and a bunch of small guys. And what happened? Saric was punishing Dudley down low. He waited too long to get Morris back in the ball game. And then they blew a couple of assignments, and guys, Cam Johnson, and guys were getting wide open threes. And I don't know what it is. Jay Crowder can hit threes for everybody else except when he played with LeBron in Cleveland. Skip, you saw him in Utah. You saw him in Miami last year. You see him in Phoenix. He couldn't buy a basket when he was with Cleveland, and that's why they traded him. But back to the original point. I gave LeBron a B+ to play without Gasol, to play without Kuz. I don't really know what else you could want him to do. He did everything that you, Skip Bayless says, I want you to attack. He attacked. I want you to play out of the post. He played out of the post. He did everything he possibly could except win the game. I gave him a B+, but the Lakers are going to have to get some better shooting and some better defending on the perimeter.
Okay, first point of order and contention here is I thought the Lakers were the #1 team in the NBA in defensive efficiency. Now you're telling me they can't guard the 3-point line? I don't get it.
Skip, you see it. You saw last night, and you saw nights before that, and you saw the night before that. You see them. Teams hitting 20. What did Utah? How many threes did Utah hit?
Well, they
How
do
many
that.
did Phoenix hit last night?
Yep. Okay.
So, but you got to guard the 3.
So you have now acknowledged they're an overrated defensive team at #1 in defensive efficiency, and I do agree with that. Now, back to Jenny's question, what letter grade does LeBron deserve for his effort last night? I'm going to be nice to him. I'm going to give him a D, as in disappointing, because I was so disappointed in LeBron James last night, especially after the 7-10 mark of the 3rd quarter. What happened at that point? If we could see this, we could see what happened. LeBron drove. Ayton fouled him. I thought Ayton did foul him, if we could see this. And it led to an ejection of Devin Booker. Here we go. And we got Devin Booker. And he said one thing to one ref. He bounced the ball to the other ref and said something else. And that was the end. It was bang, bang, Tex. And the best player on a Phoenix Suns team that you have not had great respect for was gone with 7:10 left in the 3rd quarter. At that point, the Phoenix Suns were up 7 points, and I immediately tweeted, wow, it's LeBron's game on a silver platter. He should take this home at home. And he was not able to do that. And again, the Achilles heel for LeBron this year has been the three-point line. He continues to shoot and miss from the three-point line. And all the way down to the 4-minute mark of the fourth quarter, LeBron was 0 from 3. He was 0 for 4 at that point. And finally, when they were basically hopelessly out of the game, if we could see what started happening, LeBron started hitting threes when the game was virtually decided. He made his first one. It was actually 4:03 left. He finally makes this one. That cut the lead to 10. Then at the 2:53 mark left in the game, he makes his second three, and that cut it all the way down to 11, the lead of the Phoenix Suns. 2:06 left, he makes his third three, and that cut the lead down to 8. Here we go. That's 8. And ironically, he actually has one with 1:33 left. That could have cut it. That was the that we're seeing. This is the one that could have cut the lead down to 5 and at least made it sort of semi-interesting over the last 1:33. And he missed it. So the one that really mattered, he missed. But here's what happened. It was the classic empty. No, I'm going. It's my turn. Sorry. This is the classic, just all-time LeBron empty calorie game because he scores 9 quick points in a 2-minute stretch from 4 minutes left down to 2 minutes left by hitting 3 inconsequential three-point shots that pad his totals from 29 points all the way up to 38. And it sounds like, wow, Bron got 38 last night. Well, did they matter? No, they didn't matter because Devin Booker was out of the game and he couldn't seize control of the game, take it over from a team that didn't even make the playoffs last year and say, not in my house. He played 38 minutes. He played all the way down the stretch to the end of the game, and they lost by 10 at home to a team that virtually for, the last quarter and a half did not have Devin Booker. Well, that's a big old D as in disappointing for LeBron James.
But hold on. So what are we going to do? Excuse me. What are we going to do about them guarding the 3? So that's LeBron. So LeBron got to guard. Not only must, excuse me, not only must LeBron score all the points, but he must guard all 5 players. Because Dre Crowder, what did he do in the third and fourth quarter making threes? What about Saric? What about Cam Johnson? What about Chris Paul? So what are we going to do about that? See, when everything, all you do is that when they win, you talk about this guy bailed him out, KCP and all this. But when they lose, he get all the blame, but you don't give him any of the credit. Because you always say, oh, this guy bailed him out, that guy bailed him out. But when they lose, you don't say other guys did not perform well. You say this is all LeBron. Okay, so even though you take away those 9 points that he got in the fourth quarter with those 3, 29 points isn't good. So that was a bad game. No, even though he's looking at the percentage in which he shot.
He keeps jacking up threes, and he was 0 for 4 at that point, and they're just costly possessions in a close game. I think he's a lousy three-point shooter. He's a career 34% three-point shooter. I told you he would fall back to the mean, and it's a mean 34%, and that's where he's about to fall. He's at 35% now after all that hullabaloo about how he perfected the three-point shot. He was 42% from 3. Baloney. He's not good enough to do that, but he's figured out if I can make some threes, it's easier, quicker path to catch Kareem Abdul-Jabbar for the all-time leading scorer. Well, that's hurting the team's ability to win home games, and they're losing way too many home games without Anthony Davis.
Skip, it doesn't skip. Home, road, it doesn't matter. A loss is a loss. And I'm looking at it. LeBron was the only guy that was plus of guys that played at least 20 minutes. He was one of the few guys that had a plus rating. Look at minus kick 16 for Morris, minus 15 for Trez, minus 11 for KCP, minus 11 for Schroeder. Skip, you watching KCP. KCP is struggling with his shot. And the shots that he's shooting are not even close to going in from 3. And Wesley Matthews, those shots are not even close from going in from the 3. But that's LeBron's fault. LeBron throws a perfect pass, hits him right in the pocket. KCP is missing layups, point-blank layups. And it's hurting his defense because KCP is a better defender than what he's put on tape and what he's put in the game over the last month of the season. But because he's struggling, and you see him every time, what's he doing? He's chirping with the officials. He's getting these hard fouls, and they end up calling a flagrant on him last night. I didn't think it was a flagrant. Thought it was a just common foul. But Skip, to say LeBron deserved a D, if you want to say, you know what, he lost. But if you notice, this is a lineup. I don't know how much you watch Phoenix, but they love playing Saric at the 5 because it spaces the floor, and now Chris Paul can work, either get to the basket or drive and kick. And if you look at the Lakers, what teams have given them trouble? Teams that have guards that can break you down off the dribble. Bradley Beal, Russell Westbrook. You see what Jamal Murray did. You saw Chris Paul. Guys that have guards that can take people off the dribble because the help's got to come. And when the help comes, kick to the corner, uncontested 3, bam. And that's what we'll see happening. So guys are going to have to do a better job of locking in, doing their responsibility, keeping the ball in front of them, and not having to rely so much on help.